William, I'm ready to go shopping.
Judy, then I think you're going to need a bigger cart.
You think so? And we'll have a cartload of color for you next on Garden Time. Welcome to Garden Time. And William, you are so right, I do need a bigger cart.
Yes, you do. We are out here at a vintage flea at Margie's Farm and Garden. Later on in the show, I'm going to be talking to the girls about all the things that are happening out here, but they're going to have over 50 different booths available for you to shop at.
And also come up in the show today, earlier we talked about a basket of color. Well, we're going to show you all that in 3 different garden tours.
We will also visit cherry country where the cherries are ripe right now.
But first, we'll start off with the Multnomah Garden Club tour.
Well, I am standing in a stunning garden, and I'm here with landscape designer Elaine Hudson. How are you, Elaine?
I'm fine, thank you.
So tell me about this. This is a breathtaking garden, and it's quite large. Tell me about it and how long you've been doing it, because you created this one.
Right. It was designed 19 years ago, and I was here for 3 years, from October to April, when everybody else starts their, they're being busy in their gardens. I have to stop because the soil is sandy and it's huge and free draining, so it just needed the rains.
And we are out in Troutdale area, right?
Right.
So and the sandy river's right here, so that would account for a lot of that sand. So what did you, when you got this place, did the owner say, I want this look or I want that look?
Not really. Linda just came out and she, with an expansive show of her hand, she says, you can do this.
And how big is the garden specifically?
I would say about 3 acres,
Wow.
but totally they have 15 acres, I think.
And I hear there's a stunning waterfall here as well that you put in. This isn't a natural waterfall, is it?
No. When I walked in here, I looked at it and I said, what a wonderful place to have. It's an alcove. And somebody had done like a little grotto and spray painted it blue. So I found a guy who, to do it for me. I said, okay, come on, let's power wash that thing and get it going. And we had a mountain lion come and give us his little footprint, his paw there, like, I okay this,
Well, and there's also, there's so many beautiful things here. There's a wonderful gazebo that you had put in as well.
Yeah, somebody obviously put that in because they used to have huge company parties. And they had bands and stuff. Now it's dedicated, mostly done by Katrina, their daughter, for weddings. They have weddings here, so.
Well, and the thing of this is actually one garden on a great garden tour. So what we're going to do now is take a walk over here. I'm going to chat with another lady about the entire tour. Come on over, Elaine.
Thank you.
So now I'm standing here with Catherine Deshone, and Catherine, you are part of the garden club that this is involved with.
Yes, the Columbia Garden Club is established in 1946.
And Catherine, what is the name of the tour?
It's the East Multnomah County Garden Tour. This is the 20th anniversary of the garden tours.
And one of the things I love about this garden tour is all 4 of these gardens are very large. How large are they, roughly?
Well, this one is actually 15 acres.
Wow.
This is the largest. The other 3 are at least 1 acre.
And just briefly, are there major differences in them, or are they pretty similar, just large scale?
One of the gardens is a newer garden, so the plants are smaller, but they're all somewhat botanical gardens because they all have the huge trees.
And what is the cost to take the tour?
$15 per person.
And are there places they can go to buy the tickets early?
Yes, they can go to Al's Garden Center,
Nice.
and they can also go to Boring Bark, and they can buy the tickets there. They can also go to each garden tour location, and they can buy the tickets the same day.
Well, this one is absolutely breathtaking. I can't imagine what the rest of them must look like. So for more information, you can go to gardentime.tv. We'll also put a phone number there of Elaine's that you can call her and get more information on how you get the tickets and how the trip works. So these are really stunning places. Thank you so much for taking time
You're welcome.
to talk with us.
Thank you.
stages, 22 shows, one sweet weekend. The 24th Annual Oregon Jamboree, presented by South Pacific Auto Sales, is bringing you the biggest show of 2016. Carrie Underwood, Toby Keith,
Let's have a party.
Randy Houser,
Come on now, we're running.
Old Dominion, Chase Bryant, and so many more. July 29th through the 31st. Tickets on sale now at OregonJamboree.com. Presented by South Pacific Auto Sales.
DRAM is celebrating 75 years of design and manufacturing of quality watering tools. DRAM products feature 9 water patterns and are designed to nurture your plants with a shower of rain. DRAM for lawn and garden, available at garden centers near you.
Spring is the time when minds turn to a vintage flea. Stop by Margie's Farm and Garden and see tons of handcrafted gifts and unique vintage items. There are treasures that will please everyone in the family. Reclaim a vintage item that will become an instant heirloom in your family. We have tasty treats while you shop, and we will have 30% off all our flowers too. We will also be offering classes where you can make a handcrafted gift that you can take home. We'll see you at A Vintage Flea.
In the summer months, water use can double or triple due to outdoor watering. Here are 3 simple tips to help save water and money this summer. Set your sprinklers so that they're watering your lawn and plants and not the pavement. Water early in the morning or later in the evening when temperatures are cooler. Group plants with similar water, shade, and sun needs together. For more water conservation information and tips, check out the Regional Water Providers Consortium at www.conserveh2o.org.
So I am standing in an orchard with Celeste, and she is from Cherry Country. So clearly, it's a cherry orchard, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So it's so odd to me that I have not heard about this place before. And when we started to do this story, I said, how did I not know about this? So tell us, first of all, what is Cherry Country and when did it start?
Cherry Country started in 1991 when my parents bought a cherry orchard, and we thought, oh, okay, we can grow cherries, right?
And did they know about cherries?
No, they didn't. My mom grew up in Montana, and she would pack cherries in a packing plant there, but she was never a part of the growing process of cherries. So this was a hobby project for my parents. They had their full-time careers, and my dad was looking to kind of do something a little bit out of the ordinary.
This would be it.
Yes, absolutely. And he was an economist, and so he said, okay, we grow cherries, we need to do something value added. And that was where the idea came to start drying the cherries. And lucky for us, Royland cherries have great natural flavors. So when we concentrate them by drying them, they taste even better. And so one thing kind of led to another, and then what do you do with with dried cherries? You chocolate cover them.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, chocolate makes everything better, right?
And so that's really, it surprises me that it's a new company. It's a really new company.
It really is, because I mean, we bought the orchard in '91, but we've really only had a commercial product and been here since 2002.
Unbelievable.
Originally we just had the land, and my parents, when my dad retired, they built this building where we do all of our processing. And so I joined the company in 2002, and I gave my parents a year, and it's now been, I guess, 13
You've given them
years.
more, haven't you?
Yes, I have, much more.
So now, if I can't wait to get up there and actually see this whole process. But before we leave the beautiful orchard, what if a home gardener says, well, I can grow cherries like this, I want to try that. What are some tips that you might give us?
First, you want to make sure that you find a tree or a variety that is compatible with your climate. That's one of the most important things. You need to know your moisture, or how much it's going to rain, which is an issue for us here in the valley. So we have to pick varieties that will deal well with our climate, as well as making sure it's a self-pollinating, or if it's a tree that needs cross-pollination. So you can either get some that have grafts that have multiple varieties, which will cross-pollinate each other, or you want to grow at least 2 trees so that they can cross-pollinate.
And the more cherries you have,
the better.
That's right.
Yeah.
So now, what I think though is, you had mentioned before we even got on camera that there is a way to pick a cherry. I've never even thought of that, but there is, isn't there?
Absolutely, and it makes a big difference, because a lot of times people will just reach up and grab a cluster of cherries.
I've been guilty of that.
Yeah, exactly. And then you take half the tree with you, and you don't want to do that always. And so basically, in order to pick cherries, And these cherries here, these are a Royal Land cherry, and there's a nice big cluster. Basically, you want to push against the stem, and it just comes right off like that.
And it doesn't remove the whole stem then.
Exactly. And then you don't lose all this spur here is the fruit spur. And so we don't want to take all of this away, because some of these cherries, like some of them aren't quite ready, but also we don't want to damage the tree. And this allows us to not damage the tree, and it's really easy.
Okay, so I'm going to try it here. So you just take it off that way.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
there you go.
You just push against that little nodule.
And there it is.
And it comes right off.
So now that I know how to properly pick cherries, let's walk on up to the warehouse there where all the fun work is done and see how it's done, all right?
Sounds great. Let's go.
So now we are standing in the retail store of the production facility, and tell me what happens. The cherries are picked, they get up here, what's the process there?
First we have to pit the cherries, so we go through and we rinse and sort them, and then we pit them so that we can freeze them, and then once we're done with the freezing of them, we can start drying them.
And that is your daughter. She's just a little excited about cherries, isn't she?
Yes, she is. She loves cherry season.
So then once you freeze dry them or just regular freeze them?
We regular freeze them to hold them until we're ready to start drying them, so that all of our cherries will be freshly dried.
Nice.
So we don't just sun dry them or dry them all during the summer season. So we dry them in small batches throughout the year. And so that way we can have year-round products. And drying is a natural way to preserve the cherries. And so for us, it's a great alternative for extending our season.
Because you really do. You're very concerned about being as I don't want to, not so much the word organic, but you really try to be very holistic and pure in the way you process this.
Exactly. So we are looking for the most natural process as possible. Nice. So we use a lot of organic methods for our growing of cherries, nice. And then with our processing, we are processing them without additives. So we rinse our fruit, and then from there we freeze it, and then when we dry it, we're not adding anything to it. We're not adding sulfites, we're not adding sugars and oils and everything. It's just our natural cherries that we have picked as ripe as possible, so they'll have as much flavor as possible naturally.
And the thing that I when I first heard about doing this story, I thought, two things I adore, chocolate and cherries together. I'm in some kind of paradise.
Yeah.
But you guys have so much more than just chocolate-covered cherries here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, jams and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, pepper jellies as well, and dried cherries, and we're also working on some new products as well. So,
wonderful.
We just like to play with cherries.
Of course you do. And now you do have a website.
Yes.
And on there, you also ship this stuff. It's not just something that are retail, but you go to places too. And
yes, we do the Portland Farmers Market as well as the Corvallis Farmers Market, and then we have retail outlets throughout the state, and then we also ship through our website all over the country.
Absolutely wonderful. Well, I'll tell you, this has been a true delight for me personally, so if you also would like to share in some of the pleasure of cherries, you can go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to their website, find out where you can pick up some of your own. Really such a delight, Celeste. Thank you so much, my dear.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to have you guys here today. Thank you.
This morning, I'm at Stoller Farms with Marvin Stoller. And Marvin, this is a great place. And how long have you been out on here on this farm?
Well, we moved here in 1979, and I grew turkeys until 1992. And then things went awry on the turkey business, but about 96 or 7, I started a hobby, which has grown into quite a business for us. And it's been a wonderful business with meeting so many wonderful people here. It's been great.
Beautiful flowers. You do hanging baskets. You have other annuals for baskets and containers, but I think you're really known for your geraniums.
Well, we are. My daughter's become known as the geranium lady at the Beaverton Farmers Market and the other markets that we go to. So anyway, it's been fun. Yeah.
And you know, sometimes people say, well, there's geraniums, there's seed geraniums, and something called zonal. So maybe you can explain the difference.
Okay. Yes, a seed geranium is, of course, grown from seed, and it's hasn't been bred up as much as a zonal geranium like we have here. The seed geranium, the flowers just don't hold up. They tend to shatter a little bit more, while the zonals have been bred into quite a very healthy, long-lasting, long-lived plant.
And you were mentioning about the branching. It's like that's a huge plant here that you sell.
Yes, the more branches you find on a plant, the more flowers you're going to get. Each branch produces multiple blooms. So yes, when you're shopping for a geranium, you do look for more branching. We grow our geraniums in a larger pot, which provides a better root system for them, and just helps stimulate that plant to produce a much bigger, better flower.
They're gorgeous, and I love the colors. You have a lot of different colors here, and this coral is pretty, this red, and then two tones. Really nice, but then I noticed these back here are just a little bit different. They're a little bit, look like more aggressive.
Well, yes, we grow a calliope, variety called calliope dark red, and lavender rose, and hot pink.
Wow.
And they're a cross between an ivy geranium and a zonal upright geranium.
They're just beautiful. So you could put them into a container. They will kind of cascade a little bit.
They will cascade a little bit, yes.
That is neat. And so what kind of care for geraniums?
Well, we certainly need to water and fertilize regularly. I recommend fertilizing a rather dilute solution of fertilizer 2 or 3 times a week.
Oh.
And water certainly daily in warm weather. They'll tolerate some dryness. Care other than that, they do need to be deadheaded.
Okay. And maybe you can show us, because
sure.
sometimes we don't understand what that means. So
yeah, when a flower dies back, you want to pluck it off at the base of its stem, right there, if you would.
That's pretty easy.
And it's real easy. Yeah, it breaks very nicely at the base of the stem.
And so in a full sun plant too.
It's a full sun plant, yes. 4 hours or more probably is a good recommendation.
Or afternoon sun, that nice hot afternoon
Nice
sun.
hot afternoon sun. Yes, yes.
And so I see that that you are here out in Molalla, but then you're also at some farmers markets.
Yes, we're at the Beaverton Farmers Market, and we're at the Lake Oswego Farmers Market.
And so we can find you on Facebook too?
Absolutely, yes. My daughter updates that Facebook page regularly and features numerous things.
Yeah, and Eden, she's the geranium lady, and she's also the Facebook keeper. And she said
Absolutely.
that she really kind of keeps up there, and if you have questions, you could Facebook them, any kind of care questions about any kind of annuals. But you have to come out and see them, either at the Molalla site or the Beaverton or Lake Oswego site at the farmers markets. Thank you so much. This has really been really nice to see you.
Great, thank you.
Garden Time is brought to you by Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
They had to take the car, they had to get it open with the jaws of life, take me out on a backboard, took me to a Trauma One center. I absolutely feel like the Subaru saved my life.
Well, we trust Capital. We trust our salesperson here, Jackie.
Jackie's great. I believe that she really cares about us.
She teaches me about the Subaru.
Our way on the Parkway.
Since 1982, the Wall has been making local gardens beautiful, naturally. Whether you need a new wall, concrete patio, fire pit, or driveway, the Wall's expert craftsmen can build it. We back up our work with a 5-year warranty, so you'll know it'll last. We use the highest quality materials, including stamped colored concrete, natural stone, and we're the leader in using recycled concrete. Create an outdoor environment you'll enjoy for years, with the help of your friends at The Wall. Join us for Berries, Brews, and Barbecue, now happening 3 weekends in June, featuring Oregon craft ciders and brews and barbecue. Enjoy barbecue. You pick strawberries, hay rides, live music, and much, much more. It's farm fun for the whole family at French Prairie Gardens.
I am at a very unique garden today. It is filled with plants and with railroad trains, and I'm with Warner, who's the homeowner here. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Great. And you are a member of the Rose City Garden Railroad Society, and you just have this unbelievable backyard with a train.
Yes, it's a big one. We filled up as much of the yard as I could with trains.
It's amazing.
Yes.
So how did you get all started with this?
Well, it started when I was just a kid, if we wanted to go that far back. Lionel trains under the Christmas tree all my life through college. I had to put it aside. Medical school, I started playing with small trains. We had a club in my garage in medical school. And then, again, kids came and decided there wasn't room in a house, so started putting things out. And we live in the most beautiful garden area I think, of the world. here in Oregon, and it was just a natural fit to find trains that would run outside.
Oh, that is cool.
About 25 years ago, they started making these trains that were big, about the size of a loaf of bread, and they run beautifully outside. The track is durable, it stays in place all year long, and it just evolved from there.
Oh, it is remarkable because it's not just the backyard, it goes into the front yard, it actually goes into the basement.
Actually runs into the basement for needing more space to turn the trains around and head back up. And the trains in our concept that I like don't run in circles. The train imaginarily runs from a town we call Glacier. It's somewhere in the far northwest, runs to a town we call Bear's Paw. And the train in our imagination actually goes from one place to another. But to serve more purpose, during harvest season from our grapevines, we actually cut the grapes from the vines, put some in the cars, and run the cars to the crusher and destemmer, and actually make it a working railroad. So it's more than just a toy train.
And you've really melded a lot of your different hobbies here because you said you were into bonsai, and in the front those trees are just kind of larger bonsai.
Yes, again, the hobbies of bonsai, or at least small trees, was one area which kind of melded into garden railroading. And I like to work in the dirt and with rocks. I've always been fascinated with geology and architecture. I love building the structures. In fact, if you wanted to know the truth, I like structures maybe a little more than trains.
Oh,
so
we
I
won't
have
say that too loud.
friends in our club. Well, the friends in our club know that, and they come and help run trains on busy days like this.
Oh, well, it is lovely. And how long is the train? How many feet of track do you have?
There's about 1,200 feet of main line that goes from one town eventually to another town. You can turn around in places and go back where you were, but for operation, we imagine it as a real railroad. It's just small.
Well, you know, you've heard one side of the story, but I'm going to talk to Brooke, who is Warner's spouse. And so, Brooke, what kind of compromise did we have to come to make this all happen?
Well, we're constantly making compromises. When we originally started landscaping, I wanted grass, a yard, waterfalls, and he wanted a train track, and I wanted some grapevines, and he wanted a train track, and I wanted roses and tomatoes, and he wanted a train track. So we now have a lot of train track, but we also have grapevines, tomatoes, roses, and grass. And I love having a cup of coffee in the morning and sitting outside listening to the waterfall. And it's just so relaxing and private for ourselves. And we've worked together in our business for over 35 years. And so we've learned to work together and make compromises, through our life. And we're a team, and we've made it work and enjoy our yard and hobby very much.
Oh, and it's just lovely, lovely. And so you are showing this off at the tour, and that's happening next weekend. So give us a little information about that.
The tour runs the Saturday before Father's Day. It is June 18. It runs from 10 to 5. You purchase a Garden Railway book, and for $10, it gets your family, or maybe however many you can fit in your car, into all the railroads on the tour. We'd love to see everyone come out and see our tour.
Brooke, where can we get the booklet to get to these lovely gardens?
They sell a lot of the booklets all over town at different garden shops and online. You can go to the website, and that will give you the opportunity to purchase the book and get into the tours.
Well, this is a great garden tour event, and so go to gardentime.tv and click on, and you can find out where you can pick up the tour book, get everybody in the car, and come out next Saturday to the gardens.
So I'm out here at Chenard's Nursery, and this is our plant pick of the week. However, it's a little different. Normally we do one or two types of plants that are the same family, but today we are doing pollinator plants. So I'm here with Mark Lectie from Little Prince and with Andrea from Chenard's. So tell me about this one. What do you got for us?
I have a showy milkweed for you here. This is a native plant actually to Oregon. This is the first stop of many for your monarch butterflies. This is what they actually come in. The caterpillar larva will actually eat on.
Nice.
And then, as well as being a drought tolerant plant, this is a great plant to conserve water on for you.
That's wonderful, and they're beautiful too when they bloom.
They're excellent.
So how about you? What do you got there?
So I've got an ajuga. This is Burgundy Glow, and this isn't necessarily a butterfly plant. I've noticed in the nursery that bumblebees absolutely love these things, and so all of the ajugas are great for as pollinator friendly plants.
And you
for
guys
bees.
carry a lot of
We do. We
those
grow a
too.
lot of ajuga and a lot of other plants that are pollinator friendly.
And Andrea, I see behind us you did a great display here.
Yes.
So tell me just like what is this one here? It's beautiful.
This here is Agastache. It's a great drought tolerant plant as well. Loves full sun. The bees, the hummingbirds, your butterflies all are attracted to it. This display was loaded before we walked over here.
And yeah, it's so true. And Mark, speaking of pollinators, there's a group you wanted to mention.
Yeah, there's a nonprofit in Portland called Pollinator Parkways, and I visited with the founder of that last week, and what they're doing is taking the street strips along roads, this was in the city, and turning it into a pollinator-friendly habitat. It's quite amazing.
Yeah, because a lot of them are just wasted space, so
Yeah.
why not make them pollinator areas?
So look up Pollinator Parkways on Facebook while you're looking up Little Prince on Facebook as well, and you'll find out all about that project. It's really cool.
Wonderful. So, there you have it. You can go to any garden center, but certainly come out to Chenard's and look for wonderful pollinating plants that they have. Get some pollinators in those gardens and get nature kicking in your own garden. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
This week's plant pick is brought to you by Little Prince. Our plants won't croak. Welcome to Drake's, not your ordinary garden center. Grab a cup of coffee at Antonio's and wander the nursery for the perfect plant. Check out the landscape design showrooms for ideas, then meet with a designer. Come pick out a bouquet of flowers for dinner or for that someone special. Find something distinctive for your home or your garden. Imagine the possibilities and let Drake's turn them into realities. Drake's 7Ds on Southwest Shoals Ferry Road in Portland.
Damien, fancy meeting you here at Standard TV and Appliance.
I had no idea they sold mattresses.
Why, certainly they do. As a matter of fact, they have the largest selection of Beauty Rest mattresses in the entire state.
Huge price cuts now on Standard's all-star lineup of mattresses, including Beauty Rest Black.
I'm going to sleep great tonight.
A hometown favorite since 1947 for appliances, TVs,
and mattresses.
You got it. Standard TV and Appliance.
Create this year's containers and baskets with Black Gold natural and organic potting soil. Don't trust your edibles and flowers with a potting soil labeled organic. Look for the OMRI listed logo on Black Gold natural and organic potting soil to be sure it truly is organic. Look for earthworm-enriched black gold at your local garden center or go online to blackgold.bz. Black Gold, all the riches of the earth.
Welcome to Blooming Junction, where it's easy to connect with nature. At Blooming Junction, you'll find beautiful, healthy plants, good, fresh food, and a place to regain peace and calm in your life. We have an unsurpassed collection of unique and distinctive plants and the expertise to help any gardener be successful. And we feature blooming advantage plants. Come check out Blooming Junction for an inspiring experience in the garden or in the kitchen. Blooming Junction, offering quality plants for beautiful gardens.
So I'm here with Jan McNeil, and it is time for Tips of the Month here in June. But, I think a lot of us think June, well, summer's here, all of the struggles are gone, we're just going to enjoy. But there's still a lot of stuff happening in the garden.
We've planted a lot of things, and it'd be nice to know what's wrong with some of them, what to worry about and what not to.
Okay.
This is a 9-bark, a copper 9-bark.
A great shrub, too.
And it's wilted only because I picked this a while ago. It looked fine. And we've had this for years. And then we've never had mildew, and it's really awful. And it's only on about 5 branches on the whole big shrub. But if you see it, maybe you'll panic. There's not much you can do. You can cut it out if you want. The environment is just right. The humidity is right, the temperature's right, and the disease is there.
And so that happens. So you suggest if you do see this, just cut it out?
You can cut it out.
If you see it on little leaves, can you just put those off then?
Well, you can, but if it really hits the whole shrub, it's not going to kill it. It's just going to look awful, and you're going to worry about it. And using fungicide isn't going to really do much.
Okay, all righty. What else you got?
Root weevil. This is last year's growth on a rhododendron. This is this year's growth. So it's telling me that last year there were root weevil here, notching into the side of the leaf. This year, so far, we only have aphids, but we don't have any root weevil yet. As soon as you start seeing notching on the new growth for this year, then you're going to know that the root weevils are there for this year.
And I think a lot of people do think if they see that kind of notching, they make the connection to root weevils on the rhodies, but
right.
they attack
This is
other plants.
epimedium, and Berginia, all sorts of different things. And it's just the notching on the edge, just to take a little divot out of the side. And where slug damage can be all over the plant, or they can suck holes in the middle, but the root weevil are just taking
consistently
notches.
on the side.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is what slugs will do.
Well, they used to be pretty, I guess, didn't they?
They were all marigolds, but just as a point, when you get plants like this, just before you buy them or when you do, put your hands between there and just make sure you're not bringing slugs home.
Oh, because you think they're going to climb up in there.
Oh, yeah.
And then it just came up there for dinner.
Yeah.
Okay. And see, I've never even checked that before when I buy plants like that.
But you've never had any slugs.
Oh, of course, not ever.
And this is June drop, what's called June drop on fruit trees. This is an apple tree called Tom Putt. It's an English apple. And this is what the drop looks like. Usually they're about an inch.
Okay.
Or maybe a little bit bigger.
And by drop, you mean they're just on the ground?
They're on the ground. Okay. And the reason they are is because they're not pollinated. There's only one seed in this. I cut some of the ones that have dropped. There's only one seed in that, so it didn't get pollinated, so it's going to drop. Now, I just cut this off. I just picked this one off the tree. So, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4 seeds in it, so it's going to hang on.
And so what is it that, like, there's really nothing you can do about June drop, is
No,
there?
rake them up, mow them.
And is it something that's bad for, like, should we be worried about the plant, or is it just what
No,
happens
in the long
nature?
run, actually, it thins your tree, and a lot of times you have to go and thin fruit, so this kind of does it for you. But that people worry about it. Sometimes the temperature change and this heat that we've had can make it happen.
And then the last thing is we're going to talk about lawns. How do we mow them now?
Well, I just mowed today, and it's nice and green, and it looks good, better than normal, because I'm apt to mow too short. So mow a little taller, let the grass shade itself, and you're going to have, and then leave it high all summer.
Okay, so that makes sense, because when you do water, it protects the water that gets to the ground more, and then it shades it more. So that makes perfect sense.
And it looks better. And if you have an uneven lawn like we do, it looks better. So.
Covers up all those gopher holes and mole holes.
Mow it high and let it stay green longer.
All right, well, you know, June is here and summer is on the way, and we're having a great time, but our gardens still need some attention. So thank you, Jan, for giving us the tips for this month, and we'll do it all again next month.
All right.
I'm at Bauman's Farm and Garden with Brian, and Brian, I love coming out this time of year. It's like everything is either edible or in bloom. It's wonderful.
It's great. I mean, I know it's been warm lately, but it's summer.
It's time.
It is. It feels like summer now.
It does. It definitely does.
You know, it's funny. I have a lot of people that come in early on in spring looking for veggie starts and stuff. Sure. And a lot of people ask me, well, where's your basil? And I always tell them, wait a little bit. Because I have people say, well, I can't grow basil. And a lot of times, because you're trying to grow basil in April and it's too cold, too wet. But now it's warm, it's time for basil.
And I see you have a new variety here. I haven't seen this before, and it's really pretty too.
It not only does it look great, but it tastes great. And basil, you know, you get the first leaves, it smells good, you cut it back, but a lot of times when it goes to seed, it's done.
Right.
And this basil now has a bloom that's actually edible. It's called balsamic blooms.
It is pretty. And so here's the one that you were talking about, the old-fashioned one that we know has been around forever, but this new one is really pretty too. You can just even have it in a pot for an ornamental.
Well, you can see the difference, I mean, how much fuller and tighter this is.
Right.
And it just goes all summer. So yeah, it would work great in a pot. It would be beautiful just by itself, but then you can pick some, eat some, and it's going to last a lot longer and do better for you.
Yeah, and you'll still have some left after you make that spaghetti dinner.
That's right. Or on your pizza.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
And really, it's not too late to put some extra pots for vegetables or herbs on the deck.
No, it's we still got plenty of time. We've got a long time for summer to go. People are on vacation early or whatever. We still have a lot of things going on at the farm, and we still got lots of plants.
And so what is going on at the farm? I'm sure there's lots going on.
I mean, everything has been very early this year. We had a nice spring, and believe it or not, strawberries are pretty much done. And all of the other berries, which typically wait till the 4th of July or later to get, it's now, they're all coming in.
So remember that. You got to step up now. Start your jams and your freezer jams.
That's right.
And
In
all
fact,
that.
you know, and sometimes people come in and they say, well, are these berries local? And I say, well, they're like 100 feet across the road. So I thought maybe we'd go take a trip across the road and I'll show you some of the ones that are growing.
Oh, that'd be great. Okay.
Great.
Brian, you are so right. We are right across the street from the barn, and the berries are just ready right now.
It's great. You know, people ask us, you know, well, how long were these picked? Well, you know, it's like we pick them here and we take them to the farm. But this is one of our favorites probably. It's called a loganberry.
It's beautiful.
And it's a beautiful berry, but a lot of times people don't, you come out, well, which one's ripe? And you can see how it gets that real deep, dark purple. That's when it's ripe. That's when it's nice and sweet. If you come out here and pick the red ones, it might be a little sour.
Oh, no. Yeah, you don't want that. And about how many berries do you have here on the farm?
We grow almost 20 different varieties of caneberries.
Yummy.
So, and it's peak. Right now is the best time to come out and try all the different varieties. In fact, we have, oh gosh, 4 or 5 different types of blackberries. You know, people come in and say, well, I want a blackberry.
Which one?
Which one do you need? So I want to show you a couple of the different blackberries that we grow. So let's go on and head over there and I'll show you.
Excellent. And these are ready too. Now, what kind of berry is this?
This is called an obsidian blackberry.
Ooh.
And I mean, this was developed down at Oregon State, and it's really cool. So all the different blackberries we grow, Marions, boysenberries, in fact, that loganberry that we saw earlier, all of those have been crossed with a couple others that I don't even know what they are, have been crossed to make this blackberry.
Wow.
So it's a very intense blackberry flavor, very unique. And I think that's one of the really cool things about coming down to the farm right now is that you can come down and you can try all of these different fruit down at the farm.
That is great because we want to come out to the farm, to the country for that experience, bring our family, and you know, you're just not about berries. I mean, you have other things, other produce too. You have all the nursery crops and those kinds of lovely flowers and plants, but to bring the berries home and do your own taste test in your own kitchen with your family is the best.
It's a lot of fun, and we're very blessed to have all of this right here. You know, when you go to the grocery store, you think, well, yeah, it was picked a day or two ago. That's pretty fresh. Well, when it's a couple hours, it makes a difference. And I know it's a drive out here, but we appreciate it when people come by.
And we appreciate you being out here and having all of this bounty for us. And they do all the picking, so you don't have to go out in the fields and do that. Thanks so much for that. So if you have any other questions, please go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to the Bauman's website, and you can see what's ready out at the farm today. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Judy.
At Garland Nursery, you'll find
top quality plants,
4 generations of garden know-how,
fun and fantastic garden decor,
and the best in garden supplies.
Come visit us at Garland Nursery.
Since 1937, inspiring beautiful and bountiful gardens.
The health and beauty of your garden starts from the ground up, and healthy soils begin at Grimm's Fuel. For the best in garden mulch, blended soils, and bark dust, choose Grimm's. U-Haul delivered or installed, Grimm's can do it. And if you're looking for a new lawn, Grimm's can do that too with our special lawn installation service. Grimm's is also the area's largest recycler of yard debris. The foundation for a healthy garden begins at Grimm's Fuel.
Over the 30 years that our family has been in the nursery industry, we've learned that anyone can supply a customer with plants and garden supplies. But it's supplying those plants and supplies backed by a knowledgeable staff that can transform a garden and take it from ordinary to extraordinary. That's what we do at Sagawa Nursery. Why be ordinary when you can be extraordinary? Sagawa Nursery, growing beyond the ordinary.
I'm at at Portland Nursery today with Laura. And Laura, we always have interesting things with you. And because you are so well-rounded, I mean, you're a medicinal person, but also tea is part of medicinal use. And so we always love new teas. So teach us about some tea making.
Sure. I started making a tea for myself that I bring to work every day, just to kind of help with busyness of life and things like that. And so this tea I've made from nettles, which is this guy here, oat straw here, tulsi or holy basil. I've got little babies ready for the future. Rose petals, your Rosa rugosa that you can buy.
Makes it extra pretty.
Makes it extra pretty. And red clover, or the true red clover. It's the pink stuff that kind of volunteers in meadows and stuff, not the cover crop.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it looks like you let it dry first. So do you let it dry all in the mix or separated?
Separated.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when you're mixing it all together, it's kind of equal parts or what you like?
It's what I like and what I've learned from studying herbalism and things like that. So.
And then you have tea bags. I've never seen those before. There's like fabric tea bags.
They're little muslin tea bags. You can get them at some of your grocery stores in town. So makes it really easy. I do a dry in the morning, put it in my jar, bring it to work, fill it up with hot water, and there I go.
And it can stay all day.
It can stay all day.
And you just kind of sip on it. And it really helps during the day. I know that tea can be so calming. We all have hectic lives, so it's really nice to do that.
Yes, definitely.
And you have many other things here. I mean, you can make tea out of many different kinds of plants.
You can. I brought a neat spicy basil tea, brought over from England. So there's some basils here, like licorice and cinnamon, which kind of have that unique flavor to them that I thought would be really fun as a tea. And I just put it, this cup came with a strainer, so it's an easy way
how clever.
to make a tea.
May I taste?
Of course.
Ooh, that is different.
Yeah.
Not something you can get in a bag all the time.
Right, exactly.
So it's nice to make your own and make your own mixes.
Yes, yes.
Well, I know that you just don't have tea here today because you have lots of other ingredients. So what else do you have for us?
Got carried away. I have vinegar. This is something that I made from dandelions.
We got those.
We've got those in your yard. I used the whole plant.
Wow.
And then I also used nettles, which I also had in my yard and easy to get to. I harvested these fresh, stuck them in a blender with apple cider vinegar and just blended it up and threw it in the jar and let it go. Something to remember, don't let them sit too long because they're really acidic and they can eat the lid of the plant, so sometimes I'll put parchment paper between the lid and the jar.
And then do you cook with that then?
Yes, this kind of vinegar is great to cook with. You can make salad dressings out of it. You can just kind of be creative with it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, when I was smelling it before, I can smell it with like a potato salad or something. It'd be yummy like that.
Exactly. Yeah, really good in that way.
All right, and then on this side of the table, we have something completely different.
We do have something completely different. We have more what's called drinking vinegars or shrubs. It's kind of an old term. I know, not the woody plant.
Not the woody plant.
And it's an old term that's referred to, drinking vinegar has a sweet thing in it, usually a fruit. And then it'll have an herb of some kind for kind of a flavoring, and then honey or something in it for a sweetener.
Oh, okay, so yeah, there's one right here. This is an elderberry shrub, but when you do smell it, it smells really strongly vinegar, but then there's an after flavor to it, after aroma.
Yeah.
So really interesting.
Yes. Judy, let me mix you up something.
All right, I'm ready.
So we'll have a little shrub spritzer here.
Okay, we're gonna use that elderberry shrub.
The elderberry shrub.
All
We'll put a little touch in there. Very technical measuring.
And you have pretty cups, so that always helps. And what is that you said?
This is just some bubbly water that you can get whatever kind you like.
Oh, interesting. All right.
There you go.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
Yes, but it's also a mocktail.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very refreshing. That is nice. I can see that on a kind of a warm day. Very tasty.
Yeah.
And you could either make these or you could pick these up somewhere?
You can make them. It's harder to find them around in town.
Okay.
So I'm sure there's different places to find them.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And Laura, you have some other ideas for combinations.
Yes, also for shrubs, we actually have a real shrub here. It's a blueberry, and it's wonderful when paired with lavender.
Oh, that would be good. And so and you could use it as a mocktail too.
Exactly, yes.
But speaking of the real thing, you have some adult beverages.
Yes, we do. This one here is a Doug fir infused in vodka. I picked the fresh new tips, and of course ethically in a clean place. And it's really refreshing if you'd like to try a splash of that one.
Oh, okay, we could try that.
And I can do
And so then you would just infuse the, this one okay?
Yep.
You would just infuse the little tips into vodka and let it sit for a
Yep,
while.
I kind of blend it for a little bit. You can do this as a spritzer too if you want, or you can just
try it straight. Oh. Oh, that's very good.
Isn't
kind
it?
of earthy, but kind of piney, conifer smelling, tasting.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
yeah.
And then what is this one?
This is one that is the last of my prized batch, Osmanthus fragrans flowers. That's been
gorgeous
infused.
flowers.
Yeah, yeah. It takes a lot of time to harvest them.
That's a lot of flowers.
Yeah, yeah.
And then what is this
The
one?
last one I just started. This one is honeysuckle flowers in
Oh,
vodka.
wow.
And so it's, yep, it leaks a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit,
Yeah.
but you can see that this is how it looks in the beginning.
Yeah.
And kind of a strong vinegar fragrance,
Yeah.
but then as the honeysuckle starts taking over.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how it turns out.
Well, all kinds of interesting little, extra hobbies to do this spring and summer. And go out into your garden and harvest things. If you have any other questions, go to gardentime.tv and we have some links to different handouts that you can get more ideas from. Great, thanks so much.
Thanks, Judy.
Experience more than 120 great beers, ciders, and meads from 60 breweries at the annual Oregon Garden Brewfest. Sip your beer while strolling through 80 acres of gardens, enjoying live music while tasting local foods. The Oregon Garden is less than an hour south of Portland in historic Silverton, and tickets start at just $15. For tickets to the Oregon Garden Brewfest, go to OregonGarden.org.
2 stages, 22 shows, one sweet weekend. The 24th Annual Oregon Jamboree, presented by South Pacific Auto Sales, is bringing you the biggest show of 2016. Carrie Underwood, Toby Keith, let's have a party, Randy Houser, come on now, Old Dominion, Chase Bryant, and so many more. July 29th through the 31st. Tickets on sale now at OregonJamboree.com. Presented by South Pacific Auto Sales.
William, it's a time for the Oregon Jamboree.
Yeah, I could tell that from the cowboy hat.
You think? It is time for the Oregon Jamboree happening in Sweet Home, Oregon at the end of July, and we have tickets to give away.
And it's really easy. All you have to do is go to gardentime.tv, send us an email on why you like Garden Time Television or why you like Garden Time Magazine or both.
And we'll pick the winners from those entries at the end of June.
Good luck, everyone, and yeehaw!
Join us for Berries, Brews, and Barbecue, now happening 3 weekends in June, featuring Oregon craft ciders and brews and barbecue. Enjoy barbecue. You pick strawberries, hay rides, live music, and much, much more. It's farm fun for the whole family at French Prairie Gardens.
So I'm standing out at Marty's Farm and Garden because there is a wonderful event happening again called a Vintage Flea, and I'm here with Kathy. Kathy, tell me of things that are going on.
Oh, so this is our third event here at Margie's, and we have 50 vendors this time.
Wow.
With antique and vintage collectibles and furniture, repurposed items. We have artisans from the local area that work with reclaimed wood and glassware and jewelry. And of course, because we're at Margie's, we have a lot of garden-related items, so that's pretty exciting.
And there's also going to be food, right?
Yeah, there's going to be food. There's a food truck coming. We have breakfast and lunch, so you can come hungry. You can stay all day, just hang out and check out our classes. We have those. We have demos both days. Margie and I are each doing a hands-on class. We have a lot of our vendors coming in and pitching in and doing demos of their specialty and their techniques.
And where can they go for more information?
Oh, great. Yeah, they can go for our complete class schedule to avintageflea.com. You have to get that A in there. And also we do daily updates on our Facebook page, which is also A Vintage Flea.
Wonderful. Well, and speaking of classes, Margie, you're going to actually be giving one on sedums? Is that right?
Yes. Today at 11 o'clock, I'm going to be doing a hands-on class where you can come shop our selection of succulent sedums, all different types from little 2-inch up to big 6-inch gallon, 5-gallon containers full of succulents. And you can bring your own container in. You can find something here at the Flea. We've got lots of selection to choose from to plant up.
And then you've also got, you have a plant sale going on currently too.
Oh, we have a huge plant sale going on. We have 30% off everything in our store. That's from our perennials to our patio pots, hanging baskets, all of our annuals, geraniums, vegetable starts. Everything's 30% off.
And still a great selection
available. Oh, we still have a beautiful selection. Yeah, everything's looking beautiful.
Well, this is a really fun event, and if you love antiques and plants, it's a great combination for both of those things. So go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to the website. You can get all the information. Come on out and have a great time. Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah,
thank you, Margie.
Oh, thank you, Will.
Our tip of the week comes from our good friends out at Swan Island Dahlias, and it's called Topping Your Dahlias. Now, you might notice when you watch the show, when we're out there, that their fields are just covered with blooms. They're big, they're beautiful, they seem to be everywhere, but none of them are flopping over like they do in our gardens.
You know, they don't use any kind of structure because at this time of the year, they go in and they actually trim the plants back to promote a stronger, shorter growing plant.
Now that is called topping, and what you do is you wait till the plant is about 18 to 22 inches tall, then you just count up from the ground. You got about 1, 2, 3 or 4 sets of plants, leaves there, and you do that and just cut it off. You can also use your fingers too.
You know, this time of year is a great time to do that, and you will have a shorter, more compact plant, lots of flowers to enjoy in your garden or to cut and bring in the house.
Now, this is not an exact science. It can be 3, it can be 4, because out at Swan Island, they actually have a really tall mower and they just shear them off.
It's a really great thing to do at this time of the year. Go out and tip or top your dahlia plants today, and that's our tip of the week.
Garden Time is brought to you by Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
Do you want to be green? Do the easy stuff first. Hi, I'm Sarah from Portland Nursery. The U.S. House Energy and Commerce Committee says for every $1 spent on a shade tree, you can save $5 on cooling, blocking the penetrating heat in the summer and allowing the warm rays through in the winter. Dollar for dollar, there's no better energy and money saver than a good, deciduous shade tree. Portland Nursery's professionals can help you make the perfect selection. Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
DRAM is celebrating 75 years of design and manufacturing of quality watering tools. DRAM products feature 9 water patterns and are designed to nurture your plants with a shower of rain. DRAM for lawn and garden, available at garden centers near you.
At Euro American, we search the globe in order to find fantastic plant material for gardeners at all levels. We then search out local retail centers, like Bauman's, in order to provide that material to you.
One of our favorite new introductions is the Balsamic Blooms Basil.
It grows flavorful leaves and blooms simultaneously. Use it in the landscape or in your kitchen.
It's delicious either way. Find this and other great new introductions at Bauman's Farm and Garden.
Little Baja is your source for a whole lot of terracotta and concrete too. From bird baths and benches to Buddhas, bears, and fountains, plus the exclusive Baja chimney. We have an amazing variety of the finest in terracotta and concrete containers. Come check out our selection of statuary for any garden theme or setting. So for something for the garden, deck, or patio, come see us at Little Baja on East Burnside in Portland. Find us on Facebook too.
I'm in a very lovely garden today in Vancouver, Washington. It's actually a part of the Garden Conservancy Hardy Plant Society Open Garden Tour. And I'm with the homeowner, Judy. Judy, this is such a lovely garden.
Thank you.
My gosh, about how big is it?
Just about 3 acres.
And how old?
We started developing it 14 years ago.
But you can't believe the maturity of these trees. I mean, you have trees that are they're 14 years old, but they're just lush. You must have just wonderful ground here to garden in.
Well, I tried to amend it a little as we went along, so that helped.
Well, and a lot of the garden here has a Japanese influence, a feeling to it. And why is that?
Well, I lived in Japan when I was growing up, and I just came to love Japanese maples and ginkgos, and then developed a love for conifers, and I guess those are my favorite plants. That's kind of where it started.
Well, because you have so many of those, about how many Japanese maples do you have here?
I have about 150.
And they're all so beautiful. They're all different, and they're placed so well. And you said that you're not a designer, but what an artistic talent you have.
Oh, thank you.
Judy, what about some of the specific places in the garden? I love that cover bridge.
Oh, thank you. We also have a fire pit area. We have what I call a woodland walk that has a lot of shade plants. I have a vegetable garden. Wow. I have a lot of stone in the garden, and this is my newest area in the garden, and really excited about the Japanese feel that it gives.
There's a lot of places for gathering too. You must have a lot of people that you love to share this garden with, because there's places that you could entertain in and just kind of sit and relax with people.
We do. We really enjoy that, and every now and then I enjoy coming out and sitting in those places too.
It's great when we get to enjoy our own gardens and not just work in them.
Right.
Well, this is only one of the gardens in a whole host of gardens, so we're going to go over and talk to Beth and talk about that. Now, to hear more about the details of the tour, I'm with Beth. And Beth, what is your position with Hardy Plant Society?
Well, I'm on the board newly as of last fall, just elected. And as a board member, I volunteered to be the chairman of the Garden Conservancy Committee this year, or well, from now on, as long as I can do it. This is an annual tour. It's a fundraiser. We have partnered with the Garden Conservancy in New York for 10 years. And so half of the proceeds from the tour go to the Garden Conservancy, half stay here to support grants and scholarships through the Hardy Plant Society.
Oh, lovely.
So it's a wonderful cause, and they're gardens that people don't get to see normally. So a very unique collection of gardens.
And how many gardens are on the tour today?
There are 5 gardens. So this one is in the middle of the round, but each garden is extremely unique. So the first one is kind of a Japanese influence, very contemporary Japanese, and there we're going to have a raffle of several donated items. Really wonderful, and all of that money stays with us. That's all for grants and scholarships. The second garden is a garden designer, very kind of quirky, whimsical art. It's a fun garden. Then this one, which is so stunning. The fourth garden is very comfortable. It's about an acre and beautifully designed. Not a garden designer, but wonderful plants and a fabulous dwarf conifer garden. Ooh. So that's really unique. And the final garden is almost park-like. There's this beautiful vista with a lake in the background, a lot of wildlife, a lot of birds, and a lovely place to either start or end the tour because it's just a good strolling garden.
And where can we get tickets?
Actually, every garden will be selling tickets. It's too late to pre-purchase since it's today, but they can go to the Hardy Plant website, hardyplantsociety.org, and download a map. And the map, they can go to any of the gardens and get tickets there. So it's going to be a wonderful day. And it's going to be cooler than last weekend, thank
It's perfect
goodness.
for garden touring.
Yes, yes.
Well, if you need any other questions, please go to gardentime.tv and we'll click you over to their website and get in the car with your friends and go garden touring today.
Come, we're waiting for you. It's going to be gorgeous.
Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We want to thank you for watching today, and don't forget to come out to Margie's Farm and Garden for a vintage flea today.
And for more information on the show that occurred today, or to watch it all over again, you can always go to gardentime.tv.
William and I thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week here on Garden Time.
The proceeding was a paid program of the Guston Creative Group and its sponsors.